why most people are so unpleasant. This is a very interesting topic, and I think that to answer this question, we have to examine the many different types of humans which inhabit this planet. There is not a single universal type of human being which is born here in this world, but there are probably thousands of different types or breeds of humans. You can also call them breeds. And at the bottom of the issue lies the difference in genetic makeup. Now, my theory regarding this issue is basically the differences in the DNA. When humanity was at first created in the living library, they were created as angelic beings, as these humanoid, human looking and divine looking beings. They were beautiful to look at. They did not have these ugly or animalistic type of repulsive features. They basically had a very pleasant type of face to look at, but somewhere along the way, with all of the cosmic wars, the fighting, the conflicts between different types of alien races, I think what happened was that there was this genetic mashup of all kinds of bad influence. The evil races, they gave us their genes, and at first we humans were created just as these angelic, beautiful beings. But when evil types of beings interbred with our species, and then humans took their bad and nasty characteristics in them, and it shows in the facial structure of most humans. It shows in their nasty character, their nasty behavior, their evil ways. Basically, I think that the bad races, these fallen types of beings, they interbred with us humans, and they messed us up as a species. So before I get to explaining what the different types of unpleasant humans are, I will first say that there are still beautiful humans among us. There are those who still carry some kind of beauty in them. It shows in the facial structure, it shows also in the body. Not all humans are unpleasant to look at. And I think the most cherished humans, especially in womankind, because women are basically measured by their outward appearance, their value as women is determined by how beautiful or how ugly they are. So if a woman is beautiful, if she has these angelic features, these types of very beautiful types of characteristics, then she is basically like a goddess, and among other women she is hated, she is envied, she is despised because she is better than the other ugly looking women. But in general, there are still humans who carry the beautiful characteristics, but I think there are few in the whole of humanity. I think there are basically very few compared to the majority of the people who are very unpleasant. And probably if we didn't have these types of deep occult problems, such as body snatching, such as the taking possession of one's body by evil beings, then we can safely say that when a certain person is beautiful, the face shows the type of character. In general, this is true. I think the only exception is when a person is like an NPC, for example, when they have body snatched him and his body is just a vessel for the evil, for evil spirits, for the devil, for the servants of the devil. Then it doesn't match up the type of face with the type of character that the human should have. But in general, the two match up. There is also this science. It was developed a couple of centuries ago. It is called phrenology. It is like these other types of occult sciences, which are not 100% accurate, and I just explained to you why sometimes it could not be accurate, but in general it is very accurate, and you can safely assume a person's inner character, their inward characteristics, by their outward appearance. Most of the time, when you examine a person's face, you can tell about what kind of character they have. It's basically written in the facial features. And this type of code science, it was of course neglected, it was rejected because of these reasons. I think they call it political correctness, or some other kind of falsehood they want to propagate, because there is no such thing as political correctness. People are generally hateful creatures, and they will always be hateful and spiteful creatures, so they cannot be censored. They cannot pretend that they're these good little beings that all love each other. No, people are racist. That's how it's meant to be. It is natural to be racist. It is a matter of survival to be racist. If the white man is not racist, his race will die. His Western civilization will get crushed by the dark-skinned terrorists. So racism is healthy. And also people are judgmental. They judge each other based on appearance. This is why it's very important to be fit, to keep healthy, because when you live in this society, this is the one thing that people will always value. And this occult science phrenology, it was of course neglected, but there are important types of secrets within this science, and you can very accurately tell what kind of a person someone is by observing their facial characteristics. And I will add a different type of interpretation to this whole science. I will not only look in a plain way just at the facial characteristics. I will compare the different types of humans with their different types of faces to the different types of races we have in the cosmos. And here is what I mean. Now, most of humanity, they have these animalistic features, animalistic characteristics. When you examine the occult knowledge and the magic traditions of the tribes of the earth, you will see that there was a time, and there still is, among certain types of Satanists and satanic communities, in which people used to worship animals. That they used to think that animals were somehow superior to them or somehow divine, which is of course a technical mistake. And now I will explain why it is a mistake. Animals are basically NPCs, non-player characters. They're not individuated, sovereign types of beings. I don't think animals are spirited. I don't think they have a free spirit. They do not have the human spirit. They're also four-legged. Now this means that in the sense of energy flows, they're basically enslaved to the earth. Their spine, it points horizontally, not vertically, which basically means that the way in which the energy flows inside the animal being, it is basically closed off to the higher types of planes. And animals, they are like these types of scout beings. This is how I would call them. Basically, the higher types of races in the cosmos, they look through the eyes of the animals. They use the animals as their energy vessels, as their eyes and ears, and they have put these animals here in the living library as these types of filler background types of characters, basically. So when these tribes and these Satanists worship animals, they're basically worshipping an NPC. Can you imagine that? They basically have no true spiritual understanding of what is going on, and so they put these NPCs on a high place in their magical system, and they themselves most of the time become like these animals. They stoop down to the level of the animal, and so animals are just these type of NPC characters, and humans use animals as slaves, basically, as food. They don't really treat animals in the same spiritual sense that they can treat fellow humans. And so I don't really think that animal worship is intelligent. I think it's a backwards or retarded characteristic of humanity. And I think spiritual humans have outgrown these characteristics. I also don't think a pet is needed in the life of a human. So these alien races, they're basically humanoid, and they have created these four-legged animals as their NPCs who emit their type of energy, basically. So dogs are very nasty creatures because they emit the Syrian type of energy imprint from the Sirius star system, from these warlike wolf and reptilian types of dog people who just kill each other. They're very aggressive and unpleasant. The devil has managed to enslave them. He uses their whole star system as his servants. And they also have Syrian technology, which here in the Earth plane they have infiltrated, and in the underground sections of Earth they have put the Syrian crystalline grid technology, which messes up the natural energetic flows of the Earth planet. And they do these kinds of evil things. They have reached this point in their civilization. I think they have these types of wormhole technologies. Maybe the devil has given such technology from Aryan to them when he was kicked out of Aryan, when the war in heaven commenced and the devil Lucifer fell. I don't know the exact details, but I have read that the Syrians, they they have reached a point in their civilizations that they do have these types of advanced technology, and they use it for evil. They use it to control, to dominate, to enslave. They're not benevolent by nature. And in the same kind of logic, we can also assume that every other type of animal here on the planet, it has its correspondence in a certain star race. The cats are the most close to humanity. Basically, they're originally from the Lyra star system, the feline humanoid race. They're one of the most advanced races. And I think every other different type of race also probably has some kind of star race connected to them. And now I will explain how unpleasant most people are. Now, when you look at the different types of facial features in humans, you can see some people look like orcs. Most of these in the normal world, how they call it, the normies, who are actually brainwashed NPCs. There's nothing normal or natural about them. They remind you of the orcs from the Lord of the Rings. Now, when you look at them, they not only look like these nasty and ugly brutish orcs, they also act like the orcs. They gang up on you, they gang stalk you, they're evil, nasty, aggressive, vile creatures. Their whole being commits a certain ugliness, and it shows in their nasty facial structure. Basically, they're not human, they just snatched the human body somehow, and they were born with a human body, but they do not possess a real human spirit, so they are not true humans. They're imposters. And some other types of people, they look more demonic. These are probably the ones who have relation to demons, who also don't have a human spirit, but some type of demon beings have probably snatched their genetic birth line or something like that. I also have those types. But the most common type of unpleasant person, which I also have observed, these are the more nasty types of any animalistic looking people. Now, the most beautiful types of people who carry also these features, they have feline creatures, cat eyes. They have predator types of eyes, that when you look in them, they have this awakened gaze. When they look at you, you can see this person knows what's going on. Basically, they don't look like a victim, they don't look like prey, they look like a predator, like someone who is in power. And I think this comes from the Lyran Andromedan alien races, This is what they call the predator hunter eyes. This is one of the most beautiful human characteristics. And this, I do not criticize these people because that is the most beautiful feature you can have. But the more ugly types of features, they're these types of bovine, rodent type of people. They're like bovinian rats, like hamsters, like these very nasty type of ugly creatures. And they have these rat characteristics. I have also observed they're into gang stalking, which is not a surprise after all, because you have to act like a rat in order to stalk an innocent person, in order to want to ruin the life of an innocent person. You basically have to be like a rodent, like a bovine type of nasty being. And these are a lot of those NPC types, the normie types, these unpleasant types that they tell you that you have to be politically correct towards them, that you have to tolerate them. But they don't tolerate you, they gang stalk you, they hate you, they're jealous of you. If you have the beautiful feline Lyran creature features, they're jealous of you. And we also have another type of person. They are the cattle type of person. They look like cow people, basically, like this cattle type of being. They have this stare, like these farm animals, these cows, ox type beings. They're like very sad beings. There's something pitiful about them because they are very animalistic in their nature. And I think some of them are also demonic because in the Sumerian Draconian Empire, for example, this being, they called him Moloch. He was depicted as a being with a cow head, with the head of a bull, an ox type being. So he was a cattle demon, basically. Children were sacrificed to him. Families threw their firstborn child into the idol of Baal, of Moloch, and the child was burned alive. And this is how they appeased this demonic cattle-like being. And these types, the cattle type beings, they're also a vast majority of humanity, so they don't really have human characteristics. They're more akin to cattle, to farm animals, which also shows in their face. Just like the rodents, they don't have human characteristics also. The rodent people, they act like these bovine types of beings. Now we also have the dog type of people, the canine type of people. They're basically Syrians. Most of the time they're unpleasant. I have yet to meet a pleasant Syrian. We also have uh, a type of reptilian beings. Now, these can be very beautiful. I personally, I like women who have dragonic features a lot. I myself have a little bit of such features. These are the people who are from Aryan. They have genes from Aryan originally, and they have like snake features or reptile dragonian types of features. Now these are very good features to have because, like the feline, the reptile being, it is predatory in nature, and this entails a certain kind of awareness in life that the bovine types or the cattle and dog types, they don't have such an awareness. But of course not all reptilians are good looking, only some of them have beauty. And these are also a type of human that inhabits the planet. And there are also another type of human, the bird type of human. They look like birds, basically. They're very, very strange in my opinion. Now some of them are good looking, most of them are not that good looking. I personally don't really like them. I don't think I carry much of their genes, but they are considered very attractive by some people, and they are from these star races, seraphic star races, which are winged. They have bird features, and they have very funny type of stare. Basically, like if you catch a bird and you look into its face, it is very funny how the bird looks at you, and these types of people have this funny type of stare. We also have the cat people. I think they're actually the best looking people who have feline creatures. If you have these features in you, I think you have inherited good types of genes. These are from the original designers and genetic engineers of humanity from the Lyra Andromeda star system. So the two best types of genes to have are Lyran and Orion types of genes. And we also have the hybrids, the mix of the genes. And we have some humans which look also very interesting. They're not actually akin to these types of star races, these alien star races, which also look animalistic. They look like magical creatures, basically. Like I said about the orcs. Now some people are like goblins also. They're very nasty creatures, the goblins. Some people are like stone golems, like magical golems created by a wizard who have no spirit but only serve a certain political agenda. And a lot of people, they look like also these types of magical beings, but they're a bit more rare. We also have the insectoid type of looking people. These are the ancestors which are the insect type of races, and they basically they're a bit more different than these animalistic races, because I think they use artificial intelligence a lot more. Their whole genetic makeup, I think, is made up of artificial intelligence. In the insect world, if you observe, they're very scary and nasty beings, the insects. They look like robots, basically. If you look under a microscope at an insect, it looks like a type of robotic being. And these people, they carry their features. There are also people like this, but basically the true humans, they have these types of angelic features, like they're not unpleasant to look at. They don't look like orcs or like goblins or like bovine evil rodents. Basically, very few people actually look perfect, I have observed. And my theory regarding this issue is that when the evil types of star races infiltrated the Earth plane, when they enmeshed themselves with humanity, and they gave us their ugly characteristics, basically. And these ugly characteristics, they also show in the character of a person, because a rodent type of person, he will also act like a rodent. He will gang stalk, be a nasty, dishonorable type of person. Basically, it's written in the face, the way a face looks. You can, in general, see what kind of character a person carries. And I think this is the most important things that I can tell you about this subject. Basically, I don't really want to be with an ugly woman. I would only be with a beautiful looking woman who is pleasing to look at, because I do not want the jealousy of an ugly woman. I don't want her hatred towards other beautiful women, or her hatred towards me when I look better than her. Basically, I would prefer only a beautiful woman for a girlfriend. And as a rule, the woman, when she's beautiful, she's more beautiful than the man. She looks better think the natural way is like this, that that a woman should look like a goddess, and a man should be one tier below her in terms of looks. And I think this is why beautiful women are the most cherished in this world, why the mob enslaves them, why they become these ruined women. They get ruined by the mafia. They marry these rich, ugly, pig-looking, cattle-looking men. There are also some of these ugly people who look like pigs, like different types of farm animals, that they're hybrids. And these beautiful women, I don't think they respect themselves when they marry a rich pig, for example. This is an act of self-loathing in these beautiful women. But it is an evil world we live in, so I am not that surprised anymore when I see a beautiful goddess type of woman with an ugly pig mobster. It does not surprise me anymore. It's basically mental illness at its finest. These women are mentally ill. To prefer the pig mobster than me, I think they're not mentally well. But I cannot fix these women. You can never tell a person by force that they're making a mistake. So I don't think it's very wise to really give this issue so much consideration and thought. But yeah, in general, I think that the most beautiful types of women, they are the ones who get the most jealousy, and basically they're the highest valued in this world. Their beauty is like a treasure, and men are competing for them, men are fighting wars for them. Basically, it's a very competitive type of world, and it is very tragic in a certain sense. It's very tragic that it has to be this way, but alas, this is how it is. And the ugly looking women can never compete with the beautiful looking women, no matter what kind of stupid excuse they try to come up with. No, their character cannot compensate for their lack of physical beauty. So the ugly looking women, they should just give up. They should not compete with the beautiful looking women. They should settle for an ugly bovine type of man, or a cattle pig type of man, and propagate their ugly genes. And this is what I say to them, to the unpleasant looking types. They're the gang stalkers, the pig cop types, basically the unpleasant branch of humanity. I say to them, they will never be as pleasant or as loved or as desired as the beautiful looking women, and they have basically lost this battle before it has even started. So they should just accept this defeat. Like an ugly fat pig woman, she should go to the pigsty and throw in the mud with the pigs. She has no place in my world. Only a beautiful draconian or Illyrian cat feline type of woman has a place in my world.